My name is Jake Kershaw, and I'm a transfer admissions counselor with the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time to learn more about transferring to the University of Minnesota and attending this recording of our virtual visit day. This recording is going to cover many of the aspects of transferring, but if you do have any questions after watching, please contact our Office of Admissions, and the contact information for that will be shared at the end of this recording. Even though we are meeting virtually today, it is still important to recognize the land on which the University of Minnesota Twin Cities was built. We acknowledge that the University of Minnesota Twin Cities is built within the traditional homelands of the Dakota people. It is important to acknowledge the peoples on whose land we live, learn, and work as we seek to improve and strengthen our relations with our tribal nations. We also acknowledge that words are not enough. We must ensure that our institution provides support, resources, and programs that increase access to all aspects of higher education for our American Indian students, staff, faculty, and community members. We also want to go through our diversity and equity statement. The Office of Admissions, along with the university community, vows to support our community members who continue to face inequities. We know, however, that words are not enough and that a commitment to action will not suffice. We must demonstrate that we are taking that action. It will take courage to confront our past mistakes and our personal and institutional biases, to have difficult conversations, and to risk missteps. As an institution of teaching and learning, we are both obligated and well-positioned to do just that. We denounce all forms of violence, discrimination, racism, and bias. We join university leadership in committing to bring our energy, our passion, and our care for each other to end the heartbreaking cycle of racially motivated violence and discrimination. With that being said, the University of Minnesota welcomes all students to apply regardless of immigration status. So we want to include some helpful links on the slide for DACA students, international students, and recent immigrant students. So if you do fall under any of those categories, please check these links out for some extremely helpful resources. We always want to start with a brief overview of today's agenda and what we're going to cover during the presentation. We're going to start off by just learning a little bit more about campus. Then we'll review the majors that are offered here at the University of Minnesota. We'll then jump into application information and then student life. Then we'll review finances, housing, transfer credit, and finally, as I mentioned, we'll wrap up with contact information. So if you do have any follow-up questions, please hold for that slide and we will share all that information for you to get in contact with our Office of Admissions. To get it started, it is important to know that there are 10 transfer admitting colleges that make up the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. It starts with the Colleges of Biological Sciences, Carlson School of Management, Center for Allied Health Programs, Continuing and Professional Studies, Design, Education and Human Development, Food, Agriculture and Natural Resource Sciences, Liberal Arts, Nursing, and Science and Engineering. Often we'll use acronyms to describe these, so if you hear us say CLA, that refers to the College of Liberal Arts, or CSE, the College of Science and Engineering. This is important to know because each college houses its own unique majors, so whatever major you're most interested in will determine what college you apply to. The University of Minnesota Twin Cities is made up of 3 separate campuses. There's the East and West Bank that is split down the middle by the Mississippi River and the St. Paul campus. With such a large university that includes 3 campuses in one, there are a number of different transportation options available to our students. First, it's a very walkable and bike-friendly campus. So we always encourage students to stretch their legs between classes. But if that's not your thing, we also have the Campus Connector bus system that travels regularly between the 3 campuses in a different combination of routes and stops. Buses will typically arrive at each stop every 5 to 15 minutes during the school year. Gopher Chauffeur is a free chauffeur system that will drive students home to their residence if they call ahead. And finally, we have the 612 Walk service, which is a free service where trained security monitors are available 24/7 to walk anyone on campus if they don't want to travel alone. So I touched on this when we went through the colleges, but one of the first steps in transferring to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities is to identify what major or program that you're interested in. So if you want to explore majors, we encourage you to visit majors.umn.edu, and the URL for that can be found at the top of this slide. But we have this tool that you're seeing to help you search for majors. You simply enter a subject that you're interested in, and the system is going to filter out results that kind of meet your interest level. So, for example, you could enter marketing in this search box, and it's going to display all the majors that are related to marketing. Same thing if maybe you're interested in engineering. We have a ton of different engineering majors. Enter that in there, and you'll learn more about all the engineering majors that are offered here at the University of Minnesota. Once you've selected a major, you then can click into it to explore the major's webpage to not only learn more about the major itself, but also learn if there are any required prerequisite courses for admission and just learn more about the overall transfer requirements. It is important to explore those prerequisite courses early because oftentimes they are required for admission, and we want you to be able to apply on your desired timeline and not have any surprises after you submit your application. Once you've identified the major you want to apply for, the next step is knowing our transfer application deadlines. So colleges with priority deadlines will give full consideration to all applications received and completed by that date. Applications received or completed after the priority deadline will be reviewed on a space available basis. Some programs may close their admissions before the final deadline based on space and other factors. So as you can see with the chart on the slide, the fall priority and final deadlines are listed by college. Typically, the priority fall application deadline is February 1st, and the final deadline varies between June and August depending on the college. Some colleges do offer spring admission, so if you're hoping to apply for a spring semester, please make sure that the college you're interested in does offer. The next step in the process is to submit your application. For transfer applicants, we do only accept the Golden Gopher application, which can be found at z.umn.edu/apply. We often get questions about the Common App. Is that something freshman applicants can apply for? But the Golden Gopher application is the only application transfer students should use. The nice thing about that is the Golden Gopher application is a little shorter and quicker of a process, so it'll make the application process a little bit easier for you. When filling out your application, you have the opportunity to list your first and second choice colleges and majors. If you do list multiple colleges, you'll be reviewed by both and receive decisions from both. You aren't required to include a second choice college, but if you do choose to include one, please make sure it's a college that you're serious about graduating from if you are only admitted to this second choice college. So to have a complete application, there's a couple different things we're looking for. Obviously, we need the complete Golden Gopher application. There's the $55 application fee, and then we will need the official transcripts from any previous institutions that you've attended, and we'll touch on transcripts a bit more here later in the presentation. Besides those materials, there are supplemental applications that must be completed when applying to the Center for Allied Health, Nursing, Dental Hygiene, and Mortuary Science. For colleges that don't require supplemental applications, and that's most of them, it is extremely important that you take advantage of the space on the Golden Gopher application to explain your interest in the major or majors you're applying to. That information greatly helps our team who reviews the applications to understand more about your interest level in the different majors. Finally, we do happily accept essays or letters of recommendation, but they are not required for admission. So the application materials that we'll require will depend on your application and academic standing. So if you do have a high school diploma with fewer than 26 completed college credits, we will need your final high school transcript and college transcripts directly from all institutions. If you have a high school diploma with more than 26 completed college credits, we will only need your college transcripts directly from all institutions. Similarly, if you have an AA or bachelor's degree, we will only need your college transcript from all institutions. And finally, if you have a graduate or professional degree, we will need your undergraduate and graduate transcripts directly from all institutions that you've attended. Just a reminder that transcripts do need to be official transcripts that are sent directly from the institutions that you've attended, and they can be sent electronically to admissions@umn.edu. Finally, the ACT and SAT exam scores are optional for students applying as transfer students. Once you've applied, you will have access to the application tracker. The link to the application tracker can be found at the top of the slide, but this is a tool you'll use pretty regularly after you apply. It's going to share information so you know what materials you need to still submit for a completed application. It'll list what's still missing. And then once an admission decision is released, this is also where you'll find it. So after you could submit your application, you will receive an email with access to this. definitely something to bookmark because this will be the primary way we communicate to you through the admissions process. The Minnesota Cooperative Admissions Program, also known as MNCAP, is a guaranteed admission program offered at 7 public two-year campuses around the state. It's offered for admission to select degree programs here at the University of Minnesota. A few requirements include completing an AA degree or earning the Minnesota Transfer Curriculum, as well as completing select prerequisite and introductory courses for your intended major, and meeting academic requirements. Qualified applicants must also meet that priority application deadline. One point I do want to highlight is it is just offered for admission to select degree programs. So if this is a program you are interested in, we encourage you to explore our transfer website with the MNCAP information so you can know what colleges and what majors are a part of this program and the requirements that you need to complete. The university's liberal educational requirements are designed to be integrated throughout a student's 4-year undergraduate experience. These courses provide you an opportunity to explore fields outside of your major and complement the curriculum with a multidisciplinary perspective. Liberal educational requirements are waived through the completion of the Minnesota Transfer Curriculum, an Associate of Arts degree completed in the state of Minnesota, or a previous bachelor's degree. I do want to highlight that second point there because if you are close to completing any of those items, so the Minnesota Transfer Curriculum, Associate of Arts degree, or previous bachelor's degree, it is strongly encouraged that you complete those before transferring because then you are able to just dig into your major coursework since the liberal education requirements are waived. This is not only going to save you time when you get to the University of Minnesota, but also save you a little bit of money. Two big aspects of student life on campus are student groups and sporting events. There are over 1,000 student groups to join, and we encourage students to explore the wide variety of student groups on our Student Union website. It is a great way to get connected with the university. There's everything from major-related pre-professional groups, so you can join a group that's directly related to the coursework you're studying, to groups that might be fun, like the Harry Potter Book Club, People Watching Club, or Salsa Dancing Club. You can also start a group of your own. All you need is 5 friends and $30 to do so. So you have complete access to join a group, start a group, and really get involved in campus right away. Sports are also a big part of the campus culture here at the U of M. It allows students to be a part of that Gopher community, and many of events for students are free. Football, men's hockey, and men's basketball are the only events that students have to pay for, and even so, there is a deeply discounted tickets available to students. Being a part of the Big Ten, which our sports teams are, create an exciting atmosphere on the national stage. And we have an events calendar online where you can search all upcoming events, including sports, as well as other fun events if maybe sports aren't your thing. If anyone's interested in studying abroad, it is something that we highly recommend, and we have a ton of different opportunities for students to take a part in. We have a Learning Abroad Center on campus that will help students explore opportunities to study abroad. So you can do major-related trips, or if you just have an interest in a specific location around the world, you can see what kind of relationships we may already have. And despite the pandemic, studying abroad has returned, and we are safely sending students abroad to locations where health and travel restrictions allow. So to learn more about program availability, we definitely encourage you to reach out to our Learning Abroad office, and you can visit umabroad.umn.edu. One thing we're really proud of here at the University of Minnesota is that we are a Tier 1 research university, which means there are plenty of opportunities for in-depth research on topics that interest you. There's the Undergrad Research Opportunities Program that allows students to create a research project of your own or join the work of faculty research projects to conduct meaningful research to help with issues that are very relevant to today's time. The nice thing about our research opportunities is that they are about all kinds of topics. So whatever major you're involved in, you'll likely be able to find a research opportunity that exists. You can also receive up to a $1,500 stipend by being a part of the Undergraduate Research Opportunities Program, which is a great bonus in itself. We have a ton of different resources on campus for students once they're enrolled here at the University of Minnesota. And this is by no means an exhaustive list, but a few important ones that we always want to highlight. We have the Disability Resource Center on campus, which partners with students, faculty, staff, and guests of the university to facilitate accessibility and reduce barriers on campus, and really just to improve access for disabled people. We have the Multicultural for Academic Excellence, also known as MK, which is a community-based space that focuses on academic experiences of first-generation students, students of color, and American Indian students. We have the Transfer Student Experience Office, which is really just designed to help transfer students learn and connect with the university. Oftentimes it can be hard as a transfer student to feel connected to whatever campus you're transferring to. So having this resource that provides internal programming and really helps students adjust to their new home is a great opportunity to take advantage of. We have academic success centers, which assists with tutoring to writing, technology, and research, just to assist students overall during their academic journey here at the University of Minnesota. And the final one I want to touch on is the Center for Academic Planning and Exploration, also known as CAPE. So if you do explore our majors website, you will quickly find that the U has a ton of majors, more than 140. So even coming in, if you know what you want to study, it's helpful to consider all of your options. I mean, quite frankly, once you get to campus, your interests may change, or there might be another major that interests you in itself. So CAPE can help you dig into that. There's a range of services and resources to help you explore majors anytime during your enrollment here at the University of Minnesota. So this slide is going to break down the estimated tuition and fees for the 2023-2024 academic year by residency. So as you see, it lists Minnesota residents and states that we have reciprocity with, so North Dakota, South Dakota, Manitoba, and Wisconsin. And the estimated tuition for those locations is just over $16,000. For non-residents, it comes in just over $36,000. We know tuition questions come up quite a bit, so if you do have tuition-related questions, we do recommend that you reach out to our One-Stop Student Services office. They are a great resource to answer those questions, and their contact information can be found through the link at the top of this slide. We also know tuition isn't the only item that makes up the cost of attendance here at the University of Minnesota, and we like to be very upfront and discuss those so there aren't any surprises when you get to campus. So this is going to break down some different items. We'll get into housing in a little bit here, but the cost to live on campus, so if you plan on living in a dorm and being a part of the meal plan, comes in at just over $13,000. There are other personal expenses to take into effect. Transportation expenses can vary quite a bit depending on if you're living on campus, off campus, or commuting to campus. There are books and supplies that you'll have to pay for, and then just personal and miscellaneous expenses to keep mindful of, such as clothing and entertainment. So all this stuff just to kind of be upfront and help you understand the cost of attending the University of Minnesota. One way we try to keep that cost down is our free credits after 13 program. So how that functions is each semester, every credit after 13 is free of charge, which, as I mentioned, keeps costs down for you and is also kind of designed to help you achieve graduation in 4 years. So students typically take 15 to 16 credits each semester, so they can graduate with 120 credits over 4 years. So doing that quick math, this program helps you have roughly 2 to 3 credits that are free of charge each semester, which is a great bonus to take advantage of. So financial aid is another extremely important item when talking about tuition and cost of attendance. And the first step to the financial aid process is to submit the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. So we use the FAFSA to determine your eligibility for federal, state, and university aid programs. You by no means need to memorize this, as this will be easy to find when you're filling out the FAFSA, but we do want to share our federal student code, which is 003969. One thing to highlight about the FAFSA is you are able to apply for aid even before you receive an admission decision from the University of Minnesota. You just won't learn what aid you've been awarded until after you've been admitted. So with everything in terms of transfer admissions and application, I recommend starting everything early. So this is something you can do before you receive an admission decision. So it's one less step that you have to go through after you receive a positive admission decision. As I mentioned with tuition, we often get questions about financial aid, and our One-Stop Student Services office is a great resource for that, so definitely reach out to them with questions. Related to that are scholarships. And a great thing about scholarships for transfer students is they are handled by the individual colleges that you're applying to, and just by submitting a transfer application, you are automatically reviewed for a ton of different scholarships. So there's not an extra application or any process to be considered for these. There is a scholarship page on our One-Stop website, so if you do have questions about scholarships or even applying for external scholarships or anything like that, all that information can be found through our One-Stop office. We also have an honors program, and transfer students interested in being a part of the honors program do need to apply for that, and the deadline to apply for fall transfer students is June 1st. So there are a few different eligibility requirements to be a part of the honors program. You do need to have a minimum cumulative GPA of 3.5. We want to see a history of strong performance in major and prerequisite coursework. And if you're admitted for fall of 2024, we want you to have a planned graduation date of spring 2026 or later. What this is essentially saying is you need to have 2 or more years left of education to be a part of this program. If you just have a semester or 1 year that you're transferring for, unfortunately, you won't be able to be a part of the honors program. There are a ton of different student employment opportunities on campus. You could be working at the front desk of your college's student service unit, working in the dining halls, being a part of the grounds crew, working in the bookstore. There are just a ton of different opportunities to find jobs that not only fit your schedule and you kind of work with your course schedule, but also provide extra cash in your pockets. So the link at the top of the slide is where you'll search student job postings, and this is being updated on a regular basis. So as you're getting closer to your enrollment date and student jobs start becoming top of mind, definitely check this site out on a regular basis so you can see the latest job opportunities that exist for students right on campus. And I touched on this a bit earlier, but housing is another big question. So the different options exist on our housing website and is the easiest way to find what the best fit is for you. So if you go to housing.umn.edu, you can explore residence hall, apartment buildings on campus, as well as off-campus housing in the area. If on-campus living is something that interests you, there are 2 items that we want to discuss, and the first one is living learning communities, also known as LLCs. They are co-sponsored by an academic department or college and are designed to deliver a variety of events and services to support students in their growth throughout their time here at the University of Minnesota. They provide the opportunity to live and connect with students who share academic and personal interests. So you have the ability to live with students who are in similar programs or similar majors as you. Oftentimes we'll find students who are interested in CSE or CFANS or CBS want to live together. There are different living and learning communities to allow you to do just that. There's also the transfer housing guarantee. So housing in residential life is going to guarantee on-campus housing to a limited number of transfer students. So I do want to highlight the limited portion of that. We encourage students to apply for housing as soon as possible if you're interested in living on campus. You don't need to be accepted to the U of M to apply for housing, but priority is given to students who select and are admitted to one of our transfer student living learning communities. So all that is information about on and off campus housing, but again, contact our Housing and Residential Life office for more questions on that process. The final topic we want to discuss in today's presentation, and it's one that we probably get asked the most about, is transfer credit. And we use a tool called Transferology to determine how your credits will transfer before even applying to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. It's a third-party website that keeps track of transfer tables from across the country, so you can enter in previously earned coursework, courses you're planning on taking at your current institution, and see exactly how it'll transfer to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. You'll create a free profile, select the school that you're currently attending, the term you took the course, and enter in the course information. From there, you will choose the University of Minnesota Twin Cities, and it will tell you if and how the course you entered will transfer. If it does transfer, it may transfer as a direct equivalent course to something that already exists at the University of Minnesota, or as a general elective course. If the course is listed as maybe on Transferology or not listed at all, that means that course needs to be submitted for review. When a course is submitted for review, it's sent to that academic department to determine if the course is a direct match to a course that already exists at the U of M. You don't have to be a current student to submit a course evaluation. It can be sent by prospective or current students. And once an evaluation is submitted, you'll receive a decision on that via email within about a 3-week time frame there. So it's a pretty simple process. If you follow the link at the top of the slide, it will take you to the form to fill out the course evaluation. All you need to do is fill out that form and provide a copy of your syllabus, and you'll receive that evaluation notice within about 3 weeks. So that's going to wrap up the general session for today's transfer visit day. As you can see, the contact information for our office and the programs not housed in admissions are currently being displayed. please reach out to us with any questions that you have as you go through the transfer admissions process. We want to help out as much as possible when it comes to having a successful application. I do appreciate everyone taking the time joining this virtual visit day. As I mentioned, if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you and have a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week.